Yuno and Lucelle are best friends, living their peaceful lives in this labyrinth city, Nagin. Until one day, an earthquake hits the town, and it destroys all of the buildings in the center of town. Lucelle and Yuno manage to survive the earthquake, but soon a robot golem gets a hold of Lucelle. Yuno watches in horror as Lucelle gets torn apart by a robot golem. Yuno runs away, and she manages to run out of the city, and she thinks that it would have been better if she died as well. Suddenly, a robot golem tries to attack Yuno, and Yuno uses her word art called Exploding Stars to defeat it easily. She can't believe that she managed to defeat the robot golem. However, more robot golems then come after her. Yuno tries the same attack to defeat them as well, but it doesn't work on them. Yuno then decides to leave her fate in their hands, but a swordsman saves her from the robot golems, and he asks her if she likes dying. Yuno states that she doesn't, and the swordsman mentions that things are about to get fun for humans, and she is going to miss out if she keeps acting like this. Yuno can't believe that the swordsman managed to defeat those golems with a chipped sword. A giant mother golem pops up as Yuno believes the entire labyrinth itself is the golem that was some sort of weapon. She mentions that it might be a monster created to defeat the true Demon King, and the man then kills a metal golem behind her, and he asks her if she has any food. Yuno states that she does have some travel rations. The man asks her to give him some of her rations, and in exchange, he is going to slay the giant metal golem. He thinks that fighting that thing is going to be fun, and Yuno asks him who he is. The man introduces himself as Sejiro Yaju, and he mentions that he is a swordsman of the Yaju Shinkage Ryu style, and he is also the last Yaju on Earth. He then goes to fight the robot golem, and on the way, he slices and dices his way through all the minions that he comes across. The giant golem then tries to punch Sejiro, but Sejiro manages to dodge, and he climbs up on the golem's arm. The giant golem then sends some small golems to attack Sejiro, but Sejiro uses the golems as footholds to get close to the giant golem. The giant golem then uses thermal arts to attack Sejiro, and Yuno thinks that this is the same attack that it used to burn the city. Sejiro manages to dodge this attack as well, and he cuts a part of the giant golem's head. This powers down the giant golem temporarily, and Sejiro thinks that the little golems made some nice footholds for him. The golem then begins to move again, and it tries to attack Sejiro with its left arm, but Sejiro uses the golem's momentum against it, and he manages to slice its left arm. The sliced arm lands on the golem's right arm, and it destroys it. This takes down the giant golem, and all the golems in the city stop functioning. A shocked Yuno stares in disbelief at a victorious Sejiro. She cannot help but wonder if his presence activated the golem, or if he activated it himself in search of a thrill. Sejiro mentions that cutting up this golem was more fun than cutting him one. Sejiro then tries to leave, but Yuno stops him, and she gives him the rations that she promised him. This reminds her how much she hates strong people because they make her life insignificant. Once everything is destroyed, weaklings like her have no right to deny anything. That's why she needs to support herself with something. She tells Sejiro about the next country where he can find his next fun, Orisha. As it is the largest country in the world, the council there has been gathering strong warriors, and they're planning something big. There will be enemies strong enough to kill Sejiro. She will guide him there, although this is a pretense to find out more about him and the world he comes from. Sejiro claims Yuno is now free and can do as she wants. How ironic, after she lost everything, but at least she can do something wild now. As narrated, the true Demon King has died. The enemy of the world that filled the horizon with fear was defeated by somebody. But to this day, nobody knows who that person was. Now the age of fear is over, but a hero has to be chosen. The scene then cuts to the new Principality of Lithia, where a general named Terran, the Guarded, has broken away from Oriatia, the only minion kingdom. Terran has declared independence for the regional city along the canal and is calling it the new Principality of Lithia. This was also a serious military provocation that threatened Oriatia's control over the frontier. We see a carriage headed to Lithia being pursued by wyverns. Lana, the passenger, asks Higura, a mercenary, if he is confident. Higura claims that he can eliminate them all, and he notes that he has heard that Master Terran is a self-proclaimed Demon King. Lana clarifies that her nickname was given by the kingdom, but Higara recognizes the three kingdoms that rule minion society. Shalk, the skeleton, mentions that they will be eaten if they continue at their current rate. We soon hear gunfire and notice that some bandits are trying to attack the carriage. The bandit then uses bombs to bring the carriage to a stop, but the driver does not stop it. The wyverns then attack the bandits, and after a close look at them, Lana declares that they have been saved. She says that these dragons have been tamed to be part of Linea's army, and the dragons defeat the bandits one by one. After killing them all, the wyverns, led by Regneji, tell some of his troops to head to the other side of the hill. They then notice a swarm of wyverns trying to attack them, and the two wyvern swarms fight each other. The tamed wyverns manage to defeat the stray wyverns, and Regneji uses a magical fire to deal the finishing blow to them. However, Higara and Shalk wonder why the bandits attacked if they knew wyverns were invincible. Lana hints that they aren't the real enemies, and that would be Orisha Kingdom. Meanwhile, some shady figures in Orisha, Julki and Hito, are discussing an all-out war with Lithia. However, that should only be the last resort. An assassination is suggested by Hito, who believes an accident would be more appropriate. Hargant is the 6th general of the 29 officials of Orisha, trying to hunt down a legendary dragon, Vicon. A soldier then receives word that their shooters are getting attacked. Hargant asks the soldier to patch him through to them. Hargant finds out that Vicon is crawling above ground towards their location. Hargant can't believe this, and Peak tells him to retreat. Hargant refuses to do so, and Peak then senses something, and she uses her word arts to send Hargant out of the tent. Suddenly, the tent gets blown up by a dragon's breath, and Hargant lays eyes on Vicon. In fact, Vicon seems to be wounded all over and wants to hunt the hero who did this to him. He wants to know if there are any more squads hunting him. Hargant claims he is the last one left, and he then tries to fight back with a crossbow that he created using his word arts, but it's no use against a dragon. Vicon then tries to attack Hargant with a breath attack, but he stops when he sees a wyvern named Aluz the Star Runner. Aluz was born with 3 upper limbs, and those arms craved something new, and he wanted to prove that he was more than a wyvern. He longed for everything that was out of his reach, and before long that desire led him to obtain a town's treasure, conquer a land, and a labyrinth, and now he is on the verge of destroying a legend. Vicon then attacks Aluz, and he asks him to stay out of this. Aluz dogged the attack and revealed his weapon, firing a shot into Vicon's eye with a bullet. Aluz then uses his magic to shapeshift the bullet and take down Vicon. Hargant then attacks Aluz, but he dodges, and Hargant wonders why Aluz wants to steal his enemy from him. Aluz mentions that he was only helping his friend, and Hargant states that he is not his friend. We then see that Vicon is still alive, and Desperate Final attacks Aluz and Hargant with a breath attack, but Aluz uses an artifact called the Great Shield of the Dead to block the attack, and then slices the dragon in half. Hargant tells him Orisha is trying to gather the strongest heroes and tells him to head there if he is proud of his strength. However, Hargant won't choose him, for he will never use his strength for glory. Aluz accepts and remains humble because he believes Hargant will become better than him. He then flies off to Nagin, as there is something there he wants. It is narrated that Aluz possesses lots of unusual magic items collected from all over the land and can handle any sort of weapon with exceptional skill. His desire to surpass dragons has made him the fastest airborne creature. Terran was once one of Orisha's great officials. When the Demon Lord died, she declared Lithia independent from Orisha and herself the true Demon Lord. Now she is preparing for war with Orisha as she seeks the item she has sent Dakai on a quest for. He hands her this orb, the Cold Star. She thought he was the one who defeated Gollum, but Dakai denies it and claims there is someone else stronger than him. Terran gives him another mission. Because of the bandits, she believes Orisha is sending them to observe their movements. This means someone is leaking information, and it is his job to find out who. Soon, Dakai confronts a group of merchants and learns they are traitors. A sniper then shoots at him, but he defends himself. In fact, Dakai has a special vision that tells him what he wants to know. He takes other measures to kill all the other hidden spies, leaving none of them alive. Even when those who give and want to genuinely cooperate are killed, He will have none of that and kill them all. He is not a swordsman, but a bandit himself. Meanwhile, Regneji accuses one of his wyverns of breaking the law by eating a Lithia citizen. In exchange for protecting them, they are well fed. He makes an example of him by killing him off and reminding the rest that making such a foolish move will make their swarm starve and lose Terran's trust. Regneji then visits the blind princess, Kurt. He might have a sharp tongue and won't let her touch him, but he wants to hear her singing, which calms him. As explained, Kurt lost her eyesight after the demon lord destroyed her home. However, in that darkness, it was this song that prevented her and Regneji from succumbing to insanity. Regneji asks Kurt about the impending war, but Kurt won't leave Regneji, although he notes that a stupid person like her will die first. She laughs it off. She talks about songs coming from angels, and if only Regneji was an angel. Regneji flies off as we hear a narration of him being a fearless leader who leads his swarm and roots himself in the core of a nation. Hito receives a report that all his spies in Lithia are dead. Noting that sending more men would mean sending them to their deaths, a change in tactic is needed. He goes to see Nihilo in her cell and asks her how many she needs. Nihilo states that she would only need one. As narrated, she is the most horrific bioweapon there is. Now we see Aaliyah, a minister of Orisha, at an elven village. She teaches and demonstrates Yawaka, a few forms of magic word arts. While she happily learns from her, it seems Aaliyah has her own ulterior motive. She is here and can't tell her. Later, Aaliyah meets Kia, who has been eavesdropping on them. She reminds her to use her powers only for the greater good. However, she doesn't care as long as she is enjoying her life. On the day Aaliyah is to leave the village with Kia, Yawaka and Theen come to see her off. They are grateful for all she has done. We are told Aaliyah's mission here is to secure a study abroad program for Kia in Orisha. It is all for the sole purpose of entering her in a tournament to find the best hero. Because of Kia's word art, which defies all logic and physics, she is the strongest. With Kia winning it, this means nobody will look down upon Aaliyah, who has been cast as the child of a concubine. As a farewell present, Kia brings them to a spot where she shows she can clear away the clouds. She does so easily, and this brings tears to Aaliyah. She is certain nobody can stand in her way. Lana introduces Higura and Shulk to Terran. Terran knows of Higura as an undefeatable slave gladiator who has killed many in illegal battles in remote areas. However, he has been bossed around by a slave trader for a long time, and it just doesn't add up. Higura is part of the Mandrake tribe and was plucked from his home by a slave trader to fight in matches. Because of the rule to kill or be killed, Higura easily kills all his opponents with his nimble, thin branches holding weapons. The more he fights, the more he kills, and soon everyone wants him dead in fights. But no matter how strong, or even if the opponents bring guns, they all die. To a point, nobody wants to fight and lose their lives to him. Imprisoned for a while, Higura notes that he is not fixated on life, but doesn't want to die. Soon, the Demon Lord's army attacks the place. It is then that he realizes the pride of a gladiator. After killing so many, he will not be killed by this level of enemy. He goes out to take down the Demon Lord's army single-handedly. Unlike Higura, Shulk, as a mercenary, will not talk. Unless he gets paid in advance, working would be a breach of his principles. Dakai then comes into the room, and he notices that they have guests. He states that Higura has been awfully quiet, and he throws a fruit at him, telling him to eat it. Higura splits the fruit into pieces, and the fruit melts. Terran is taken in by his skill, and Lana wonders if this means that mandrakes can use 3 arms at once. Higura simultaneously reveals 42 different arms, all holding weapons at his disposal. Meanwhile, Hito's expedition is transporting heavy equipment through the mountainous regions. Hito tells Kuzi that all this luggage is slowing them down, and it will take them 3.5 days from here, needing a place to stay. Thankfully, they are nearby a town where Kuzi once lived. Repel is glad to see him again as she welcomes him and Nihilo to the church, where she helps take care of other orphans. Later, Nihilo having dinner with the rest of the kids of the orphanage, and Kuzi thanks Ripple for preparing room for the merchants he brought with him. Repel tells them that just a while ago, soldiers from Orisha camped here as they were on their way to defeat Vaikon. Later that night, Nihilo goes to sleep in the room, and Kuzi tells her that he is going to stand guard outside. He thinks that he is glad that everyone is okay, and he states that he used to live here 4 years ago. He thinks that nothing has changed, and Ripple then comes there. Ripple pleads with Kuzi to join Lithia. They told her they could support the church if he cooperated. Kuzi realizes he has caused her pain, but he apologizes to her, and he mentions that he can't help her. Suddenly, someone attacks Ripple, but Kuzi saves her. Ripple asks them to stop, but the attackers ask her to get out of the way, and they think Kuzi has ties with Orisha. Kuzi then hides Ripple behind him, and he takes out his shield. The attackers fight Kuzi with their swords, but Kuzi blocks all of their attacks with his shield. However, the soldiers start to mysteriously die. The last one was taken out by Nihilos. Ripple then apologizes to Kuzi, and she mentions that she never thought that these guys would try to kill him. Kuzi tells her that he knows, and he mentions that she didn't do anything wrong. He asks her to show him her stomach, and he notices that an arrow has speared through her gut. Ripple states that she only wanted to make everyone happy, just like Kuzi, and she dies. Afterwards, Kuzi makes a grave for her, and he mentions that Nihilo has died before, and he wonders if she saw an angel when she did. Nihilo mentions that someone just made them up, and Kuzi states that he agrees with her. But even so, angels do exist. A lonely one who is always watching him, Nastique. As nobody notices her presence, she is immune to all interference. She also has absolute authority to end life and can take it away without ever being seen. Yuno brings Sugiro to see Hito. Hito has an important task for them before he talks about the tournament. He wants Sugiro to assassinate Terran, who is gathering magic items and has her own wyvern army. This is to stop a war from breaking out. Yuno then asks if a follower of Terran was at Nagin. Hito claims it was Dakai, but whether or not he activated the golem is still up in the air. This leaves Yuno frustrated because she was trying to find an excuse to not label that tragedy as a disaster and not blame her own weakness. She gets permission to follow Sugiro on his mission. As Rigneji goes to see Kurt, she is not around, but surprisingly, Dakai is here, and both don't like each other. Dakai hints that Kurt has been recording stuff and could be a traitor leaking information to Orisha. He then notes that Rigneji's original swam was destroyed by the Demon Lord, about the same time Kurt lost her eyesight. Dakai is curious how he rebuilt his swarm so fast. Rigneji wonders what he is going to do with that information, and Dakai states that he doesn't plan to do anything yet. Rigneji mentions that he would like to be present if he wants to interrogate Kurt, but Dakai states that there won't be a point in interrogating her, because even if someone has been filling her head with information, she wouldn't have any idea who they were, as she never saw them. As they part, Rigneji vows to protect his swarm, even if Kurt is the traitor. Meanwhile, Kurt is having dinner with her adopted mother, Terran. Kurt hopes Rigneji won't be put in constant danger and worries about the war. Terran assures her she will emerge victorious. Terran notes about finding Rigneji and Kurt together. While Kurt believes Rigneji is an angel who saves others, there is a darker truth that Terran dares not tell her. Aaliyah and Kia arrive in Lithia. However, as Aaliyah notes, it is not for sightseeing or for Kia to continue her lessons. Since Kia's ability is her trump card, she must take out all those who know about it. The only person who does is Lana, as she was a spy who got information about it and sent Aaliyah to further investigate. So when Aaliyah meets up with Lana, she lies about that power being a fraud. They also talk about Terran's assassination, but she is unsure when it will take place. They have to kill her before a full-scale war breaks out. Then Aaliyah prepares to kill Lana, but with Kia returning, she puts it off. After they part ways, Aaliyah follows Lana, who meets up with Dakai, who reveals Kurt is the traitor. However, that girl will not betray Terran unless she is enticed, and that person is Lana. She created the greatest alibi to use a blind girl to record in Braille, while she herself is outside the city looking for mercenaries. Dakai, as a bandit, has managed to find out where Lana keeps her transcripts. Lana panics as her secret is busted. She is forced to go with him to see Terran. Aaliyah overheard all this, and this changes her plans drastically. If Lana speaks, naturally Aaliyah will be investigated. As she tails them, She wonders if Kia's power can kill Lana in a single blow and escape Lithia untraced. Yuno and Sugiro join a few Orisha guards on patrol near Lithia's border. The captain explains that because of frequent bandit attacks, Orisha must show it is serious about safeguarding public order. As Orisha doesn't recognize Lithia's independence, they must take responsibility. The irony is that Orisha is the one who sent the bandits, and therefore all this is just for show. Both sides know about this farce, and it is all designed to expend resources until it wears down their morale. And then, with any little mistake, either side will use it as an excuse to start a war. Yuno wonders if war can be avoided, but as said, since Terran has wyverns who are a dangerous race, it proves she doesn't intend to back down. Just then, Sugiro senses enemies and reveals Shulk and Higara's approach. Yuno gets scared seeing them, and she realizes that they are bad news. The soldiers prepare to fight, and the captain asks them to stop and present their travel permits. However, Shulk tries to attack the captain, but Sugiro engages him. The two of them then fight, and Shulk manages to injure Sugiro. Sugiro thinks that his eyes can't keep up with Shulk's movements, and he thinks that he will have to predict his moves in this case. He then crosses swords with Shulk once more, and he manages to dodge his attacks by predicting his moves. But one of Shulk's attacks still manages to grace him, and he can't hit Shulk back. The two of them continue fighting, and the captain tells his soldiers to attack the mandrake with arrows, and Shulk tells Higara to steal a horse and return since he will not win this sword fight. Higara understands, and he stabs all of Orisha's soldiers at once. Their wounds aren't fatal, but they die due to the poison. Sugiro then tells Yuno to get out of here, but Higara grabs her horse and instructs her to ride it to Lithia. He claims that he is unable to ride a horse, and Yuno tries to refuse, but Higara points his sword at her. Yuno then understands that Higara only let her live because she was the weakest of the group, and he needed someone to give him a ride. At Mage City, Hargant is arguing with Hito about the impending danger because Terran is not the problem but a lose. He will be coming here since Lithia stole Cold Star from Nagin before he could. Hargant told him that a lose would not sit back and let someone else take his treasure. Suddenly, a huge beam blasts through the city. They believe Terran has come to such a low to declare war. Because wyverns are seen coming, they argue about whether to send soldiers into the battlefield. Hito says no, but Hargant says otherwise. Hargant says that Orisha will not accept cowardly soldiers letting the people die. Hito still won't allow soldiers to risk their lives to play the hero. In that case, Hargant himself will do this alone. Hito then contacts Nihilo and gives her the green light to annihilate anyone who poses a threat to Orisha. In the event QZ fails his mission, she must destroy Lithia. As promised, he will grant her equal rights and official citizenship in Orisha. Nihilo then asks two men to open up the door of the cargo. The men hesitantly open the door, and inside we see a mechanical spider. Nihilo then undresses, gets inside the spider, and connects herself to it to start it up. She then moves out, and she thinks that it's been a while since she had her body, and it feels like she is free now. We then see Dakai meeting the captured Yuno in Lithia. He tells her that Yuno is free to run away from here, as this is not a prison facility, and he mentions that he looked into her, and she seems like a regular person. Yuno notices the sword on Dakai's hip, and she realizes who he is. Yuno accuses him of solving the puzzle that made the giant golem move and destroy Nagin. Dakai corrects her, saying that the people of her city have been researching ways to activate it, so sooner or later it will be destroyed. She further accuses him of wanting to start a war, but he corrects her that he is not interested in it. Yuno is saddened that strong people do not consider the ones they crush. She threatens to take revenge now, so Dakai dares her. However, she can't do it and breaks down. Dakai tells her to do what she wants, and she will release her when things calm down. Dakai returns to a meeting with Terran, Regneji, Shulk, and Higuar. Terran talks about how fear was the only thing that people knew when the Demon Lord stole everything. It left an impression on their hearts. She will also rule out of fear and start a war. She then orders Regneji to take down Mage City, cut down their supplies, and isolate them. So when the wyverns start bombing the place, Hargant takes control of the scared citizens to help fight back while he thinks up a plan. But soon the wyverns are being taken out, and Hargant knows Aluz has arrived. He will hunt the wyverns and let the people protect their city. The wyverns recognize the traitorous Aluz and try to kill him, but he takes them out. But Aluz notices an attack that doesn't belong to him. Down below, Nyalo is making her way to Lithia. We see Kia and Elia looking for Lana. Kia uses her word arts to guide them to her, and Elia tells her not to use a power that draws attention to her. They then notice some soldiers on the way, and Elia tells Kia to put them to sleep. Kia does so, and she states that they should go ahead. Elia kills them because she doesn't want to leave evidence about Kia's power, and they go into the prison where Lana is being held. They find her, and Kia notices that she is badly injured. Elia asks Kia to keep watch outside while she tends to Lana, and Kia goes outside. Elia talks to her, but Lana senses something amiss. Lana wonders how they managed to find and get through here. She then realizes the existence of Kia's power, and Higara shows up. Lana quickly says these ladies are here to kill her and that she hasn't spilled the beans. Higara launches his attack, but with Kia's words to protect them from all harm, all his weapons do not reach them. Not even emitting poison that melts has any effect on them. Suddenly, Higara shrivels up and dies. Kia doesn't think her power was meant to kill him. Then they notice Lana has escaped during the commotion, so the ladies continue to find her. The real killer of Higara is revealed to be Kyuzi, or rather, his angel Nastique. When Higara unleashed his poison, it was like an attack on everyone, including the hidden Kyuzi. And everyone who attacks him will die at the hands of Nastique. Sugiro still lives as he trudges his way back to what's left of Mage City. However, the soldiers stationed there think he is the enemy, so they start firing, but Sugiro deflects all their bullets flawlessly. But the fun is interrupted when Nyalo starts killing the guards with her long-range weapon. Some of them try to attack her with cannons, but she takes them out as well, and she wonders where the wyvern soldiers are. Sugiro finds her powerful and wants to fight her. However, Nyalo views them as allies and will not. Her role is to make a path as she kills all the soldiers in the way. Sugiro will not let his fun get away, and he will go after her. With Aluz here, Regneji tells his swarm how to deal with his various troublesome weapons. Then they go face to face with him. Regneji gives him a chance to return to the swarm. Of course, he declines and attacks, but some wyverns sacrifice themselves to save him. Regneji mocks him for being angry, or if he is even capable of feelings. Aluz still tries to shoot Regneji, but the wyverns smoke in the area to block his vision. Regneji then asks him if he can guess why he has been waiting for him in Lithia, and some snipers then shoot at him, but he dodges. Aluz realizes he is caught in a trap because if he flies too close to the city, the guards will snipe him out. Aluz then tries to use the luminous blade in Kyo's hand, but it doesn't work for them. Regneji fires his word arts at him again, and he mentions that he has already prepared measures for Aluz's attacks. The wyverns try to attack Aluz, but Aluz kills some of them, and Regneji mentions that right now Aluz must be wishing that he could get his hands on the cold star. Aluz then uses some sort of golden liquid to set fire to every street in the city. This shocked Regneji for a while because he thought the fire would reach Kurt, but it looks like she is still safe. This gives Aluz the opportunity to attack, but Wyvern sacrifices themselves to save him again. Aluz finds the swarm creepy. Regneji reveals he uses life arts to alter their minds and be submissive to him. That is how he rebuilt his swarm so fast after they were devastated by the Demon Lord. He continues to brag about himself as superior, and all these tactics are to prove he is superior to him. Aluz goes down in an attack, but Regneji knows it is not over yet. He realizes Aluz burned the streets to let the fire and smoke cover his tracks since he would be flying low. He orders his swarm to find and destroy him. Although this cover also allows him to slay some wyverns and guards, some wyverns are attached to bombs, so he can't get too close. Aluz mentions that these guys are not wyverns, as they do not have any will of their own. Regneji then uses his life skills to let loose some beetles who will eat Aluz's respiratory system because of all the smoke. More bragging from Regneji, especially the true treasure called singing he has found. Regneji seems lucky because Aluz has bombed the streets in the hopes that Regneji will seek refuge at the higher tower. because by doing so, Aluz, in control of the fire, sets the tower ablaze. Aluz protects himself using his great shield, and the heat removes the beetles from his body. The other wyverns fall to the ground, and Aluz notes that Regneji talked too much, and had he kept silent, he would have posed more of a challenge. He notices that Regneji is still barely alive, and he states that this is goodbye. While they were still looking for Lana, Aaliyah, and Kia, they met the residents of Mage City who wanted to take revenge on the Lithians. But Shulk suddenly appears and kills them. Shulk asks them where they came from, and he knows that they are not Lithians, as Aaliyah fears he might move faster before Kia can speak. Kia tells the truth, they came here to study, and she even thinks Shulk shouldn't have killed those men. Shulk then points in the direction where the soldiers are evacuating the citizens. However, Kia doesn't want to leave, as she doesn't want to have regrets later. She wants Aaliyah to stay with her. Aaliyah realizes this means she has no longer a reason to kill Lana. However, if she lets Kia get her way, somebody else might find out about her power. Nevertheless, she agrees to go along with her to find Lana. With Nihilo's continuing destruction of the city, she arrived where Dekai is. She first attacked while Dekai was thinking of a plan on how to defeat her. However, despite all the tricks he tried, he could not pierce through her armor. He then signals to the soldiers in the tower. They blast her with the cold star as a reason to burn her giant spider robot. But it wasn't enough to completely defeat Nihilo, so he made the soldiers in the tower be crushed. When he also tried to attack Dekai, he didn't expect Dekai to be able to open the door of the giant spider robot. Nihilo removed his control over the giant spider and attacked Dekai, but he was the first to do so. From what I understand, his great observation skills allowed him to detect her nervous system. He theorized that if this thing is a biological tank, then it must use nerves to operate. With a poison weapon he stole from Higura, he uses that poison to observe which nerves will lead to the brain. Meanwhile, Lana is in shock as she despairs that such powerful monsters that trample on others should not exist. Aaliyah and Kia find her, but Lana blames this destruction on such monsters, as she picks up Cold Star and will destroy everything. Against Aaliyah's wishes, Kia uses her words to stop the blast. She thinks this horror is causing her to not think straight. She uses his power to put out all the flames. Lana is scared and begs Aaliyah not to kill her, while Kia apologizes for not using this power to save the city. Aaliyah assures her she will not hurt her. Dekai returns to help save Yuno, as promised. However, this girl still throws a tantrum and wants to get revenge on him. She is not pleased that he doesn't care that his city has been destroyed. With all the chaos, he doesn't care anymore. Not even Terran, whom he loved. As long as he lives, he will meet someone he loves. Yuno goes all out to attack, but Dekai easily deflects the attack. A dying Regneji crawls up to Kurt to tell her to run while he brags about protecting his swarm all the time. He thinks he will have the last laugh against Aluz when Hargan enters the room. He tells Kurt to get away from that wyvern, and of course Kurt would not. This monster is her friend. When Regneji tries to attack Hargan to protect Kurt, he pulls the trigger. However, the bullet doesn't only go through Regneji, but Kurt as well. However, it could be Aluz who did so. Hargan leaves to go after Aluz as the Kurt sings one last song for her dying friend. However, QZ is here to save her. Terran has killed many, but it looks like she herself is gravely wounded. Talking with Shulk, her biggest regret is that she will die without atoning her sin of dragging everyone into this war. As ruler, she didn't have what it took to bring peace, as the battlefield was all she knew. She points out the funny thing that nobody knows who the true Demon Lord is. However, this piece of information might have a clue. Too bad Shulk can't read. Terran reveals sending recon squads to explore the final land several times, but all were prevented. This means an unknown monster resides there. Though the bodies of the true hero and Demon Lord are still not found, that is all Shulk needs as a reward. Meanwhile, Yuno's tantrum was to buy time and lead Sadru here. Despite the fact that she also hates him, she has pinned her hopes on him to kill Dekai. Seeing he has time, Dekai will play with him, but first talk about their old worlds. Sadru hates it since the food stinks, and he fights only weaklings. Before he knew it, he was in this world. Same for Dekai. He thought they were alone because they were too strong. That's why he likes this world and who he is now. Now both guys go at each other. Dakai is quick enough to anticipate his moves and smack the sword out of his hand and into his. However, to Dakai's shock, Sajuru's sword is so blunt. He couldn't even cut him, so he wondered, how did he cut the spider? He realizes it too late, as Sajuru uses Dakai's own sword to cut him down. Before dying, he looked Yuno's face of satisfaction as she watches him die. Kyuzi goes to see Terran. He apologizes that he couldn't save Kurt. He then asks why she started this war. To rule the world in place of Orisha. It was all for the sake of military power. That's why she needed Kurt to rule over the wyverns. Kyuzi will listen to her last words before he slays her. To his surprise, Terran wants a hero. Someone stronger than fear gives others hope. Since she has always been scared, Kyuzi thinks it is possible to grant Kurt's last wish, which is to save her. Lana has been so scared that she has continued running. She sees all the devastation and deaths. It's like the demon lord is everywhere. Then she starts choking and coughing blood. She realizes Aaliyah has cast a slow poison on her. Lana slowly dies while continuing to be scared. Hito talks to Hargan about how this is the end of Lithia and how it will soon be incorporated back into Orisha. Kia and Aaliyah leave with the evacuees. Kia laments that she could have done more but hesitated. Aaliyah doesn't want her to blame herself, but she notes that even her power isn't able to beat anything. Thus, she must not let anyone know about it before the tournament starts. Kia also mentioned that if they ever return to Lithia, he wants to see Lana again. Aaliyah just agreed, even though he already knew what happened to Lana. The next day, Kyuzi helps the Undertaker bury the coffins. Damn, can he bury them all? It doesn't matter whose side the dead were on. None were supposed to die. Having been in this job for so long, he starts asking if all this could be saved. In the end, people can only save what they are capable of. Yuno talks to Sajuru and says that she still hates strong people like him who don't care about others. Because this world isn't something that just doesn't matter. While Sajuru points out that she may be right, he reminds her that he was kicked out of his own world and found himself here with no knowledge of anything except to kill. Yuno assures him that she promised to guide him, and in exchange, she hopes to learn more about his world. Aluz confronts Hito, who thinks he wants the cold star. However, Aluz says that is not what he wants and hints at killing him. Hito doesn't think so because he would have done so from afar. Aluz knows about the competition to choose a hero. He wants to join and face Hargan. Hito agrees and will endorse him as his first candidate. We go back to a year ago in Orisha's assembly hall. Jelki has received so many reports of fake heroes that he is wondering if the age of the true self-proclaimed demon lord is over. He wonders if the true hero died without anyone knowing. His fellow general, Yuka, notes about this, and he isn't too happy fighting rebels again. After all, the war with the demon lord is over. Who else to fight with? With Aaliyah and Queen Sephite here, Her Majesty notes Jelki's worries about finding the true hero. If he is out there, why hasn't he been found? Well, the world is a big place. Aaliyah assures that even if no hero is found, Sephite can rule the people. However, Jelki notes that she is too young, and the kingdom will end up divided. Sephite suggests offering more honor and reward, but Jelki has already done that and is still no true hero. Sephite then wonders if he must be the true hero. Why don't they decide on a hero? This means announcing to the public that they are finding a new hero. Because by doing so, if the true hero doesn't appear, he probably won't after deciding on a new one. Yuka suggests having all those self-proclaimed heroes that have approached Jelki and duke it out in a tournament for the title. Jelki takes his leave as he ponders that they only need one hero. So for the new era to begin, monsters that could potentially destroy the world must be eradicated. He views himself as the only one who could do it, and what is needed now is only a way to do it. Currently, the 4 potential names are Saojuru, Kia, Aluz, and Nasty. Thank you for watching till the end, and please don't forget to subscribe. See you next time, and peace out.